everybody. I'm John Hope Bryant. Welcome to my other home. This is the headquarters, the global headquarters for Operation Hope. And I'm the chairman, founder, and chief executive officer of this incredible organization. We are America's first and largest financial services network for the poor, the struggling class, the teetering class, folks with too much month at the end of their money. People like you and me. If you're signing on right now, Jamie's behind the camera. Normally I do it myself so I can talk to you. But this time it's a very special message, so I'm going to have to respond to your comments offline, but I promise you I will respond to each and every comment. So I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a philanthropic investor, but I'm primarily just the guy who was lucky enough to trip upon the idea of Operation Hope. In many ways, this is continuing the unfinished work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and so many heroes and sheroes of the civil rights movement. Dr. Dorothy Height, Whitney Young, the Urban League, the NAACP, which are still doing their incredible work in the field today. A. Philip Randolph, who pioneered the March on Washington. Frederick Douglass, who was a philanthropist and an abolitionist, but also a businessman in the 1800s. President Abraham Lincoln, the Freedmen's Bank. We're living in a moment in history, ladies and gentlemen, but history never feels historic when you're sitting in it. It often just feels like another day. What are you doing in your own life to create your own history? I want to inspire you to take your life back. I want to inspire you to figure out what you can do to change your world, to change our world. So I decided to think big. I'm proud to say I'm the only American citizen that's not a U.S. president that's ever helped to rename a federal building on the White House campus. The Freedmen's Bank building across from the U.S. Treasury Department is now named after former slaves who gave every dime they had, after they gave every ounce of blood they had, to rebuild not only a country, but to rebuild their lives. That was 1865. We were in Memphis, Tennessee, and we helped the city of Memphis to agree to put this marker up at the airport to acknowledge Dr. King's last flight ever of his life, April 3rd, 1968. And then we went further, and 2 years ago said we had a vision for Hope Inside, to finish what Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, and Frederick Douglass, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Ambassador Andrew Young never had a chance to complete, the work of what we call civil rights. Civil rights. So this is from our first shovel ceremony from the Hope Inside in Ebenezer Church. If you've not been to Ebenezer Church, go see Dr. King's crypt there. That's where Coretta Scott King and Dr. King are laid to rest. Go to the original church where Dr. King preached, and Daddy King, where we honor Daddy King, who was also a Capitalist, who was a preacher, and also served in the board of a bank for 40 years. See, from civil rights to civil rights is possible. From the streets to the suites is not in conflict. These things can work together in honor of thy vision, Most High. So anyway, we had this vision of 1,000 Hope Inside locations to finish what the Freedmen's Bank had dreamed up. And when I talked about this 2-3 years ago, people laughed at me. They wrote me off. They said it would never, ever happen. So we first opened this Ebenezer Church, Hope Inside location. You see me here at the groundbreaking. You see me with Ambassador Andrew Young. SunTrust Bank was one of the first banks that put up $1 million. Wells Fargo put up some of the funds. And we had a number of Reverend Warnock and Bernice A. King, Dr. Bernice A. King, and so many heroes and sheroes helped us make this real. And we decided that was not enough. We wanted to have basically become the Starbucks of financial inclusion. We wanted to help people change their life at scale all across this country. So we said we're going to open 1,000 locations by the year 2020, part of Project 5117. Once again, it's great to be underestimated. I'm proud to tell you, 2 years later, this week, we opened our 100th Hope Inside location. Yes, in Baltimore, Maryland, the home of my friend Congressman Elijah Cummins, who is there in spirit with us with Fulton Financial and Fulton Bank. We opened our 100th location. We also have Hope Insides there with BB&T Bank and others there in Maryland, M&T Bank and SunTrust Bank, there in Washington, D.C. Here in Atlanta, Georgia, we have SunTrust Bank, Synovus Bank, BB&T Bank. We're with the Atlanta Police Department because the police officers are filing for bankruptcy at twice the national average. Of police officers have a gun, a badge, a $48,000 income, and they're financially stressed out. And we need for them to be relaxed. We really need for them to be relaxed. We have teachers in Atlanta public schools who are stressed out financially. They're doing the best they can, but they got too much money at the end of their money, and they're teaching our children. So we're going to put a Hope Inside with the superintendent, Maria Kostarfin's assistants, right there at Atlanta public schools. That's coming. We're in Hyatt hotels, helping the employees of Hyatt hotels to get their financial independence because they're working from paycheck to paycheck. We're in hospitals, including the Detroit Medical Center. We're in grocery stores, including Whole Foods. We're going into Delta Airlines because these flight attendants and the ramp personnel and all the support personnel are living from paycheck to paycheck. Is this starting to make sense to you yet? You don't just have health issues, you have financial health issues. And I believe that 80% of disease is dis-ease. 80% of disease is dis-ease. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and philosophy matters. There is a difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is a temporary economic condition, but being poor is a disabling frame of mind, a depressed condition of our spirit. And we must vow never, ever, ever to be poor again. I don't want you ever to say you're poor, ever to think that you're poor. I want you to reclaim your mind, reclaim your playing field. Don't get mad. I want you to get even by living well. And the best way to get even is to live well. So our 100th location this week, and as if that wasn't enough, Regions Bank, really inspired by what SunTrust did with 200 locations announced last year, what First Tennessee Bank has done with 10% of its bank branches committed to Hope Inside, with OneWest Bank just committed to 10% of its locations for Hope Inside. We're negotiating with a bunch of other players too. I won't give you too much information right now, but Regions Bank today, on the eve of our 100th location, announced they're going to open 100 Hope Inside locations. You see, there is magic. There is possibility. There is darkness and there's light. There's magic still in America and in the world. And whether you're watching from Africa or Europe or the Middle East or Latin America or Asia or here in North America or Latin America or South America, I want you to know that we're part of your movement. We are coming your way. It may take us a minute to get to your city, your county, your street. Soon you'll be able to reach Hope Inside on your mobile device, but we're coming your way. So my vision for a Freedmen's Bank building renaming has been reached. Our vision to have a marker at Memphis Airport for Dr. King has been reached. Our vision to have Hope Inside locations sprouting up in cities all around this country is being reached. We have reached now our 100th location from east to west. Now we have institutions committing groups of Hope Insides all at one time. Again, most notably today, Regions Bank committing all by itself 100 locations by the year 2020. What's the magic of all this? You might be saying, well, what the heck does a Hope Inside do? Let me explain to you how a Hope Inside works. So you walk into a bank branch. I'm going to explain to you now. I want you to tell all your friends how this works now and share this video. I want you to share this video. Don't just let Lil Wayne blow up. Don't let the Beyonce video blow up. Those are all good. I love music like everybody else. Let this blow up. Let this be something that populates around the country. And let's make civil rights and financial literacy the new civil rights issue for our generation. Here's how it works. Let me unpack the memo of credit. So you walk into a Hope Inside location. This actually happened. in Memphis. You're applying to become a homeowner. You fill out the application. The banker looks at your loan application. They know you're not going to be approved. They know it when they're looking at it, but they cannot tell you. They'll be sued. They'll break all kind of banking regulations. If they tell you that you're declined in advance of you getting an official notice, they could lose their job. So don't get mad at them. They're just trying to keep their job. Okay. So they know right there when they're looking at an application, your credit score is 580, you're not getting approved. So at 580, they're forced to let you go through the entire process. So now you give them your money for an appraisal. You go through 45 days worth of an application process. You get a notice then that says, I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, you've been declined for this loan. And then you call the bank and say, well, why was I declined? The documentation didn't say anything, and it says, I'm sorry. You need to go to the 3 credit bureaus and let them explain it to you. You're upset, you're dejected, you're frustrated, and by the way, if you're truly poor in America, you're depressed. You have low self-esteem and low confidence in yourself, so you aren't going to the 3 credit bureaus, you aren't pulling your credit, and you aren't calling anybody. You've already given up. You walk back into the bank to get your credit file, to get your, your refund on your application fee. And you talk to the branch manager one last time. The branch manager says, look, I know you're frustrated and you're upset, and if I were you, I'd be too. But can you just walk across the hall and talk to the folks at Hope Inside? Now, here comes the magic. You come to my people, they pull your credit report with your blessing, and this is how we talk now, not the banker. The banker can't do what we do. Oh, Mrs. Jones, girlfriend, that credit report looks like a bus accident. Looks like a bus hit it. And we all have a nice laugh because the crap's funny. I mean, this is really bad. And you're like an adult. Like, you should know this. And so you crack a smile. Yeah, I know it's bad, but, how do I fix it? So we say, okay, well, what's this? Is that yours there? And you say, well, no, I don't know what that is. I don't recognize what that is on that report. Thank God. Fantastic. That's called an error. Silver rights, not civil rights, silver rights states that if a credit bureau cannot confirm that that item's yours, they must remove it within 30 days. So we write a letter. We don't get mad. We don't get angry. We don't curse anybody out. We write a letter to the 3 credit bureaus. And within 30 days, they must respond. And when they can't confirm that is yours, and that's most of the time, they must remove it. When they remove it, your credit score just went up 40 points. Boom. Now you've gone from 580, you paying attention now? Jamie says you are, to 620. You with me? What happens now to your self-esteem? Did your self-esteem go up? Yes. Did your confidence go up? Yes. Did your belief in yourself go up? Yes. Did the endorphins kicking in the right side of your brain kick differently? Are you now more positive than negative? Has trust a little bit been restored in the system? So powerful, even the picture fell down. So now we say, okay, great. And the person's like, okay, this is fantastic. What next? Now, the minute you say, what next, we got you. Because now you decide to take your life back. So we then say, well, what's this other item here? Oh, gee, I got a divorce. I was 10 years ago. And there was a phone bill. I didn't pay it for 3 months. I was dejected and depressed and distressed about my relationship. It was $1,000. I didn't pay it. Okay. So that was with SBC in Oakland. SBC was bought by Pac Bell. Pac Bell was bought by AT&T. AT&T couldn't chase you, find you, so they sold that bad debt to Joe's Finance Company. I know it because it says in the memo of your credit report, Joe's Finance Company. Joe's Finance Company bought that bad debt for 5 cents on the dollar, which means they paid $50 for your $1,000 bill. You with me so far? Jamie, you with me? Okay, cool. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some love here if you're understanding what I'm saying. You don't have low self-esteem. Let me know, Jamie, when I can continue. Continue? All right. So now we say, because you have higher confidence now, can we call Joe's Finance Company? You say, sure. You're bucked up. Your chest is out. Your shoulders back. Yeah. I'm a civil rights soldier. That's good. Let's call him. So we call together to Joe's Finance Company. Joe's Finance Company, yes, I have Mrs. Jones here. I'm looking for Mrs. Jones. I know she's looking for you. We want to pay you off. Oh, I want $100. Remember, he bought it for $50. Okay. How about we give you $200? Now you're saying, why would you pay these guys double of what they're asking for? Because I want their cooperation. In fact, I want more than their cooperation. I want their enthusiastic cooperation. I want to make that guy who works at Joe's Finance Company look like a star to his boss. Because I want his cell phone number, I want his direct phone number, I want his home number if he'll give it to me, I want his mailing address, I want him to agree to write a letter to the credit bureau saying that you are a good person and you satisfied your obligations, paid your debt to society. And when this shows up mysteriously on your credit report again in 3 months out of nowhere, after they removed it, I want him to write another letter telling them to take it off a second time with enthusiasm, because I'm going to make him look like a hero. Don't be mad. You got an 80% discount. He made a 200% profit. Fair exchange is no robbery. Everybody won. Did you get that? You paid $200. You owed $1,000. He paid $50. He made $200. Everybody won. Your credit report just went up. Credit score 30 points. Where are you at now? I said you were at 620. You're at 650. What happens to your self-esteem? What happens to your confidence? What happens to your belief in yourself? All the endorphins are kicking the right side of your brain. What happens to your level of hope? You're just feeling better about yourself. Now we start tackling little things on your credit report and about your life. Why are you going to Starbucks when you should be having some Folgers at instant coffee at home? You know, why are you smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day? The box says this crap will kill you. I mean, if you stop smoking cigarettes twice a day for a year and you stop going to Starbucks, you'll save $6,000. If you're making $36,000 a year, that's 20% of your income. I just saved you 20% of your income. Reclaim. 2 ways to make money: make more, spend less. Anyway, the short version is working with you for another few months, get your credit score up another, let me guess here, 25 points. Now you're at 675. We walk you back across the hall to the bank. Now you got the memo. Good book, by the way. Now you got the memo, and the bank approves you. In this particular example, we got the bank, this was SunTrust Bank in this one example, to approve the young lady for a 4% mortgage. Did you get that? A 4% mortgage. Yes, she was African American. Yes, she was low to moderate income. Yes, she was a single mother. But at this point, we remove race and changes and differences in culture from the entire equation. Now she's not white, black, red, brown, or yellow. She's green. She's a great credit risk. You know, they gave her a 4% mortgage. She became a homeowner. We then asked her, have you ever heard of the Earned Income Tax Credit? She said, what's that? We said, you're approved. Because if you make less than $50,000 a year and you've got a job, of course, that was obvious. You make $50,000 a year or less, and of course, you're working, and you've got children, the federal government owes you a check. If you make $29,000 a year and have 3 kids, the federal government owes you $4,000. And if you've never filed for EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit, it's retroactive for 3 years. Boom, drop the mic. That's $12,000. Can you imagine what you do with $12,000? That is more money you'll ever see in your working life if you make $30,000 a year at one time than any other time in your life, and you don't owe it to anybody. See, this is the power of civil rights, the power of knowledge in your head. When you know better, you do better when you get the memo. So, but now you've already had the down payment for the home. You've already been approved for the mortgage. Now you're moving into your house. What are you going to do with this additional $12,000? You're going to pop the local economy. You're going to find that young man on your street corner who you need to be like a security guard for your house anyway, who has a high school education, no real technical skills, but he's got good common sense. You're going to say, look, let's go down to Home Depot. I'd like to get my landscaping in my house, front of my house done. And you're going to pop the GDP, gross domestic product, income for your neighborhood by giving some revenue to Home Depot or Lowe's. You're going to hire this guy, give him a job to do your landscaping. You're going to hire 3 or 4 other guys from your neighborhood to also paint your house, maybe the inside. Then you're going to hire somebody else to redo your roof, because now you have $12,000. You're going to go to the IKEA, buy a few things, hire a few more guys to put it together for you. You see, you're creating local jobs, local spot income. You're creating local GDP in your neighborhood. And imagine if we do that every block in America. You just changed the whole game. We created a stakeholder, a shareholder, a voter, because you don't vote unless you have a stake. Somebody who you create a policeman on that block. My mother used to say, you better get off my porch with that mess and underline my. And you change the endorphins in somebody's brain, because 700 credit score neighborhoods don't riot. You've never seen a riot in a 700 credit score neighborhood in America's history. Only 500 credit scores communities riot. Black and white urban and rural. You see, we can change this whole game. You see, we can transform America. We can help to transform you. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to get the memo. This is John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope. And go to the Operation Hope website, and when you buy this, you're actually donating money to the movement. I'm out.